It's Tuesday, the 13th of December, 2022. Welcome to the Fast Five by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories, 5 minutes. Let's jump straight in. Story number 1, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese expects legislation for price caps on gas and coal to pass Parliament this week, notwithstanding really a rising tide of criticism about the deal.
That's right. Mr. Albanese yesterday accused the gas industry of jumping at shadows. Now, the first big hurdle is to convince the Greens to vote for the legislation. The minor party will announce its decision today. Basically, they don't want coal companies to be compensated. That's something that New South Wales Premier Dominic Perrottet says is a non-negotiable for companies in his state. Mr. Albanese, ever the politician, Michael, said the legislation wouldn't contain provisions for such compensation, but indicated it should be paid where warranted. The pointy end of the debate for the gas sector is the establishment of a significantly toughened code of conduct, which we worked out early next year. Now, gas companies are worried that that code will allow the government greater control over gas prices beyond the 12-month cap. One interesting thing that happened yesterday, Origin Energy share price tumbled, not so much on the new policy, but on doubts that an $18.4 billion bid for it by Brookfield and EIG Group, a couple of North American players, could fall over. Those two big companies are doing due diligence on Origin at the moment. However, these changes will hurt earnings for Origin Energy, and this could be a casualty of that legislation.
All right, on to story number 2 now, Sean, and some big changes in the way COVID is dealt with from next year. The federal government has handed down its 2023 COVID health management plan. So while there's more money in some areas, one of the big changes is that the government said it's going to end free PCR tests.
Yes, they'll only be free with a referral from January 1 next year. However, the Commonwealth will extend its 50-50 funding arrangements for state PCR clinics when states choose to keep them running for vulnerable groups like aged care, for example. In essence, 2023 is the transition year whereby COVID shifts to being handled in a similar way to other respiratory viruses. COVID vaccines will continue to be free. Canberra has also extended the list of special Medicare items for PCR testing and GP consultations. One other part of it, they've cut the number of Medicare subsidised psychology visits from 20 to 10 a year. That number was doubled during COVID and was very welcome back then.
Sean, story number 3, this is interesting. Efforts to lessen the gender pay gap have stalled for the first time in 9 years, even though there's been a tick up in job switching.
That's right. So for the past 9 years, the Workplace Gender Equality Agency has been collecting data on non-public sector employers with more than 99 staff. Last financial year, the difference in average full-time earnings of men and women was 22.8%. It's the first time the number hasn't fallen. It started about 30% 9 years ago. It's down to 22.8%, but now it's stalled. That means women, on average, earn $26,596 less than men. There's lots of caveats in this, I get that, but still, $26,596 less than men. Incredible. The gap was even larger in key management positions. Previously, companies have said limited turnover has prevented balancing pay rates. Well, there's plenty of turnover now, and things have gotten worse.
Yeah, that's pretty alarming. Story number 4, Sean, this one is going to make us both sound very, very smart. The Financial Times is reporting that US government scientists have made a breakthrough in the pursuit of limitless zero-carbon power by achieving a net energy gain in a fusion reaction for the first time. You may need to take us through this one a little slower.
Yes, stay with me because it is very exciting. Now, since the 1950s, scientists have tried to harness the type of fusion reaction that powers the sun, but no one has been able to produce more energy from a reaction than it consumes to make it. So you put a lot of energy to make that fusion and you take out less. That's what people have been trying to change. In a laboratory in California, using a process called inertial confinement fusion, basically they bombard a tiny pellet of hydrogen plasma with the world's biggest laser, it achieved this net energy gain. So the process of creating the fusion, energy used there was less than the output. That is the holy grail. The extension is at some point in the future, the process could provide reliable, abundant energy as an alternate to fossil fuels and conventional nuclear energy.
Am I the only person that hears the world's biggest laser and just think of something out of like James Bond or something?
No, I'm not thinking James Bond. I'm thinking more Mike Myers.
Oh, Austin Powers. Yes, great point. Well said. All right, finally, Sean, a bit of bad news to finish on. A national crisis going on just ahead of Christmas. The country is running out of hot chips.
Yes, heavy rains in Tasmania has triggered this national crisis. The apple oil produces the bulk of Australia's frozen potato products, about 44% of the near 1 million tonnes of potatoes processed into frozen products and crisps, what I would call chips, in 2021 came from Tassie, according to the Potato Processors Association of Australia. The Australian is reporting that bad weather has delayed planting potato seeds, meaning finding a pack of French fries or a potato gem over summer might be a bit harder, or certainly a lot more costly than normal.
Yes, that is indeed very bad news to finish on. All right, there we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Tuesday, the 13th of December, 2022. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.